Let's go with some facts first. Married people live longer than unmarried people. That's just a fact. Married people live longer than unmarried people with a gap of 2.5 to 7.5 years. You got that? 2.5 to 7.5 years. At age 65, a married man's life expectancy is 2.2 years longer than an unmarried man's. Healthy behaviors, right? How you act. Married people are more likely to do what? Eat well, and less likely to smoke and drink excessively. Notice it didn't say don't drink or don't smoke, but it's when you do it excessively. That's simple. What about underlying conditions? What about when you get sick? What about when you have cancer or diabetes or high blood pressure or all those things, right? Even if you have them, you live longer when you're married. So I had somebody today that was pontificating about his wife. Just like I have people pontificate about their children. And so they said to me, oh, well, you just have a thing about children. Somebody calling somebody their child. If you did not give birth, or if you did not have a hand in making that child, it's insulting unless you adopted the kid to call a person your daughter or your son or your child. I believe that denigrates people who have gone through it. Just like married. Oh, that's my wife. That is not your wife. If you are not married, either civilly at the courthouse or in a church signed by a minister, you ain't married. You're living together, you're a partner, you're hanging out, you're doing whatever. And I can respect that. I really do. But don't try to equate it to something called marriage. Because marriage was created in a space that does not include like living together or a partnership or a civil union. It's marriage. And it's different. And so the thing is, if that's what you want to do, be a partner, be a partner. Go be the best partner you can be. But don't equate it to marriage. If you want to live with somebody, go live with them. But don't equate it to marriage. If you want to treat somebody like it's your child, do that. But don't call them your child, because it denigrates women who gave childbirth and had their children. It doesn't denigrate women who can't have children, because you're no less a woman or a lady or female simply because you can have children. But what it says is that afterwards, you can't call yourself that. Now, if you want to adopt, beautiful. You can call yourself a mom, because you're taking on all the responsibility and all the issues and all the problems that come with motherhood and childbirth. Had to find my phone. So at some point, we have to recognize that there are some things in life that we hold sacrosanct. Now, studies have shown that getting married and then divorcing doesn't lead to a long life. There was a Terman life cycle study that began in 1921 that found that people who get married and then divorce didn't live as long as people who stayed single for life. So I guess the stress of divorce could actually, kill you too. So what am I trying to say? Number one, if you're not legally married, do not call a woman your wife, and don't call a man your husband. Have some respect for the institution of marriage. But stop trying to equate it to something that it's not. Oh, it's a partnership. I've been in a partnership for 20 years. That's wonderful. But you're not married. So that means that some things that come with marriage, you don't get. Either get married or don't get married. But don't denigrate marriage by calling your partnership a marriage. Call it a partnership. You get no accoutrements of marriage for it. If you want to have a civil union, sure, but that's local. Knock yourself out. But don't insult people. Number two, I believe marriage is a sacred union between a man and a woman. What the law says regarding same-sex marriage, I respect because I respect the law. I don't have to support it. I don't have to believe it. I have really good friends that are same-sex and married. Okay. My support or dislike is never going to change the law. So when the law says it's okay, it's okay. But make no mistake, one of the reasons why we struggle in the community, one of the reasons why Black people have such a difficult time, us, is because we don't respect the things that got us where we are. We always want something new. Oh, it has to change. It's got to grow. Just because it's, the T word, you got to know. We made it as single parent households because we had to. But we also know that wasn't ideal. Studies have shown over and over and over and over that two-parent households, children do better. Even if y'all divorce later, children do better. Life is easier. Life has more meaning. Does that denigrate? No. But what we have to stop doing is disrespecting and dismissing clear statistical data that shows one thing, but because we live a life in another space, we dismiss it as if it's not true or it doesn't work. Change has to happen in the Black community in 2025. I'm on this same soapbox every December about what we're going to do in our community to extend life expectancy, to have healthy behaviors, and change the underlying conditions that are destroying our community. And until you look at us, until you do some self-examination, like I try to do, nothing's going to change. And yesterday's call with Brian will be correct. There is no hope. And the reason there's no hope is because there's no change. And if there's no change, then life really does become about one thing. Because in the end, the one thing that will save us is the one thing we reject. It's about the one word: tradition.
And that is Dr. Ken's Truth on the new 1017 The Truth.